Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Today, we're diving into a heavy but important topic: the worst workplace accidents ever recorded. We often hear about workplace safety, but these stories really put it all into perspective. From industrial disasters to nuclear meltdowns, these events serve as stark reminders of the importance of safety regulations and the human cost when things go wrong. So buckle up, because we're about to explore some of the darkest moments in human history, and trust me, you won't want to miss this. Picture this: April 26, 1986, the Soviet Union. It's 1:23 in the morning, and at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, everything seems normal. Technicians are running a safety test, but a fatal flaw in the reactor's design, coupled with human error, leads to a sudden surge of power. An explosion rocks the facility, ripping through the reactor core and spewing radioactive material into the atmosphere. The blast is felt for miles, and a fire ignites, burning for days, and releasing even more radiation into the air. First responders, many of them firefighters, rush to the scene, unaware of the invisible danger they're facing. The Soviet government, initially hesitant to acknowledge the scale of the disaster, tries to contain the situation. But the truth, like the radiation, is impossible to contain. The nearby city of Pripyat, home to many of the plant's workers and their families, is evacuated, becoming a ghost town, frozen in time. The Chernobyl disaster becomes a chilling reminder of the devastating power of nuclear energy gone wrong. The night of December 2, 1984, Bhopal, India. A city sleeps, unaware of the silent danger lurking in its midst. At the Union Carbide India Limited pesticide plant, a leak begins. Methyl isocyanate, a highly toxic gas used in pesticide production, escapes from a storage tank. The gas, heavier than air, silently spreads through the city, seeping into homes and filling lungs. People wake up coughing, their eyes burning, struggling to breathe. Panic erupts as the invisible poison spreads, leaving a trail of death and suffering in its wake. Hospitals are overwhelmed with victims, many struggling to survive the night. The exact cause of the leak is disputed, but negligence and safety lapses are clearly evident. The Bhopal gas tragedy becomes one of the worst industrial disasters in history, exposing the devastating consequences of lax safety standards and the human cost of corporate negligence. March 25, 1911, New York City. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, located on the 8th, 9th and 10th floors of the Ash Building, is bustling with activity. Hundreds of young immigrant women, mostly Italian and Jewish, work tirelessly at their sewing machines, producing garments for the city's elite. Suddenly, a fire erupts in a scrap bin on the 8th floor. The flames, fueled by flammable fabrics and dust, spread rapidly through the crowded factory. Panic ensues as workers scramble for the exits, only to find many of them locked. The factory owners, concerned about theft and unauthorized breaks, had locked the doors, trapping their workers inside the inferno. Fire escapes, inadequate and poorly maintained, collapse under the weight of desperate workers. The fire department, ill-equipped to reach the upper floors, watches helplessly as flames engulf the building. People jump from windows, choosing a quick death over a slow, agonizing demise in the flames. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire becomes a turning point in American labor history, exposing the horrific conditions endured by factory workers and leading to significant reforms in workplace safety regulations. Chapter 4, July 6, 1988, the North Sea. Aboard the Piper Alpha oil platform, one of the most productive in the world, workers go about their routines, extracting oil and gas from the depths of the ocean. A series of seemingly minor errors and miscommunications sets off a chain reaction that will have catastrophic consequences. A gas leak, undetected and unaddressed, ignites, triggering a massive explosion that rips through the platform. The force of the blast is felt for miles, and flames shoot hundreds of feet into the air, engulfing the platform in a raging inferno. Workers, trapped by the flames and the unforgiving sea, face a horrifying choice: burn or drown. Rescue efforts are hampered by the intense heat, the raging fire, and the remote location of the platform. The Piper Alpha disaster becomes the deadliest oil rig accident in history, highlighting the inherent dangers of offshore oil and gas extraction and the importance of rigorous safety protocols. Chapter 5, April 24, 2013, Dhaka, Bangladesh. The Rana Plaza building, a multi-story structure housing garment factories, banks, and shops, stands tall, a symbol of Bangladesh's booming garment industry. But beneath the surface, a tragedy is waiting to unfold. Cracks had appeared in the building the day before, raising concerns about its structural integrity. But despite the warnings, workers are ordered back into the factories, their livelihoods seemingly more important than their lives. Suddenly the building shudders, and with a deafening roar, it collapses in on itself, trapping thousands of workers under tons of rubble. The world watches in horror as rescuers frantically dig through the debris, searching for survivors amidst the mangled steel and concrete. The Rana Plaza collapse becomes one of the deadliest garment factory disasters in history, exposing the human cost of fast fashion and the need for ethical and safe working conditions in the global supply chain. Chapter 6, April 16, 1947, Texas City, Texas. The sun shines brightly on the bustling port city, unaware of the impending disaster. Docked at the pier is the French cargo ship, the Grand Camp, loaded with ammonium nitrate fertilizer. A fire breaks out in the ship's cargo hold, and despite efforts to extinguish it, the flames reach the volatile ammonium nitrate. At 9:12 a.m., a deafening explosion rocks the city, sending a massive mushroom cloud into the sky. The blast levels buildings for blocks, shatters windows for miles, and triggers a chain reaction of fires and explosions throughout the port. The Grand Camp, vaporized in the blast, leaves behind a crater where the pier once stood. The Texas City disaster, one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in history, highlights the importance of handling hazardous materials with extreme care and the devastating consequences when safety protocols fail. April 20, 2010, the Gulf of Mexico. Aboard the Deepwater Horizon oil rig, a marvel of engineering drilling for oil miles below the surface, an ominous series of events unfolds. A well blowout, a surge of oil and gas from the depths of the earth, triggers a catastrophic explosion that engulfs the rig in flames. 11 workers lose their lives in the initial blast, and the rig, engulfed in flames, burns for days before sinking beneath the waves. But the disaster is far from over. The damaged wellhead continues to spew oil and gas into the Gulf, creating the largest marine oil spill in history. The environmental consequences are devastating, with marine life choked by the oil slick and coastal ecosystems ravaged. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill serves as a stark reminder of the risks associated with offshore drilling and the importance of environmental protection in the pursuit of energy resources. December 6, 1917, Halifax, Nova Scotia. The world is at war, and the bustling port city of Halifax is a vital hub for Allied shipping. On a cold December morning, the French cargo ship the Mont Blanc, fully loaded with explosives, collides with the Norwegian vessel, the Imo, in the narrows of Halifax harbor. The impact ignites a fire on the Mont Blanc, and as the crew abandons ship, the flames reach the volatile cargo. At 9:04 a.m., a blinding flash and a deafening roar shake the city. The Halifax explosion, the largest man-made explosion prior to the development of nuclear weapons, obliterates the city's Richmond district, leaving behind a wasteland of smoldering ruins. Thousands are killed instantly, and thousands more are injured, many blinded by flying glass or buried beneath collapsed buildings. The Halifax explosion, a tragic consequence of wartime conditions and human error, serves as a reminder of the destructive power of explosives and the importance of safety precautions in handling hazardous materials. March 11, 2011, Fukushima, Japan. A seemingly ordinary day takes a terrifying turn as a massive earthquake, one of the most powerful ever recorded, strikes off the coast of Japan. The earthquake triggers a devastating tsunami, a series of monstrous waves that crash ashore, inundating coastal communities and crippling infrastructure. At the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, the tsunami overwhelms the plant's seawall, flooding critical backup generators and disabling the cooling systems for 3 of the plant's reactors. Without cooling, the reactors overheat, leading to meltdowns and the release of radioactive material into the environment. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, the most severe nuclear accident since Chernobyl, highlights the importance of disaster preparedness, particularly for critical infrastructure located in seismically active regions. Wow, guys, that was a lot to take in. I don't know about you, but I need a moment. These stories are heartbreaking, but they're also incredibly important reminders of why workplace safety is so crucial. It's easy to get caught up in deadlines, to cut corners, or to think it won't happen to me. But these events show us that accidents can and do happen. So, let's all learn from these tragedies, advocate for safe working conditions, and never forget the lives lost and the lessons learned. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe out there.